boop, 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 boop. Boom, 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 boom. What is up, though, Lions fans? It's your boy, Motor City Don P. We're back here once again. You already know what time it is, and you know we got stuff to talk about. So let's go ahead and get these formalities up out the way. One thing's for certain, three things for sure. When you see me front your TV, number one, the Motor City Cats R&D back at it. Number two, we came to give you stats and not none of that static. Number three, perhaps the most important number of them all, number three. Want to make sure we keep your Lions news pragmatic. You may be asking yourself how, Don, in these trying times is one keep their Lions news pragmatic. Mr. P, I'll tell you, I'll let you know I don't keep things from you, and I'm going to get into everything for you today, and we're going to talk about it because we got some news. But you got to smash that like button. You got to subscribe. You got to share. Which peoples? And once you have done these three things in any order, it doesn't matter in which order you've done these three things in, you've indeed kept your Lions news pragmatic. And since we're talking about your peoples, since we're talking about sharing, being caring, when you bring somebody to the stream, you got to tell them, look over yonder. Look at y'all. Tell them what the stream has. It says the stream got beans, greens, potatoes, tomatoes, lambs, rams, hog, dogs, beans, greens, potatoes, tomatoes, chicken. You name it. Beans, greens, potatoes, tomatoes, beans, greens, potatoes, tomatoes, beans, beans. You name it. You name it. We got all the shoes. We got all the slews. We got all the drinks. We got all the chews. We got all the facts. We got all the news. We got all the sleuths. We got all the sues. What is up, though, Lions fans? What is up, though, people in the chat? Y'all know what we are here to do today. We are here to dissect some cap. We are here to dissect what the main capologist said from his house at the Capitol in captivity. We are here to do that. And we will do that. What is up, though, everybody in the chat? What is up, though, to the people who are lurking, who are smirking, who are working, who are searching? But if you're doing that other thing that's freaky, I don't want to know. Keep it to yourself. Like Karen and her bland ass potato salad. If you're doing that other thing that's illegal, keep it to yourself. I don't want to know because I don't want to be a witness at your trial. And you know why I don't want to be a witness at your trial? Well, it goes a little bit something like this. Ain't nobody got time for that. All right, we're getting it in here. I'm going to go ahead and get to your comments right now in the chat section because we're about to go balls to the wall. Pause. On this Brad Holmes interview that he did. And I got to tell you, folks, you see the thumbnail. You see the thumbnail. He's got the cap on. He's got the deal with his sunglasses on, and he got the cigarette hanging out of his mouth. Now, I don't know who made that thumbnail, me, but, I think it's cooking. I think I'm cooking, right? So let's go ahead and get to what y'all got to say in the chat right now. And then we're going to go ahead and bring the sound in and we're going to talk about what we got to talk about today. I'm fired up, as you can see. This man is on fire. Right. All right, let's go. Mr. Morale 313 says, what up, though, family? What up, though? I hope you stick around because I'm probably going to have some hashtags I need your help with. Hello, all. What is up, though, to you? Just a fan. Brad Holmes is still selling used cars and too many fans are still buying his clunkers. Hey, I feel you. Greetings, Lions fans. I noticed the last couple of days pods toning down the noise on Brad Holmes. And today, lo and behold, there he is with pods groups. Well, we're going to get into that. 14 players signed a free agent window, one on a multi-year deal. We're going to get into all that. Yeah, we're going to dig in. Well, it's the big show. Yeah. No risk deal for Turner. Could be Brad is learning. No. it was a no risk deal for Marcus Davenport, especially the second one, highly incentive laden. You know what's good, Rich L? All Brad Holmes did in his pod sit down and spread bullish. That is true. Are we good? Nah, we ain't good. We not good, but we gonna get into it. Brad Holmes sat down with the Lions Collective, Jeff Iafrady, Justin Rogers, Colton Pouncey, and the guy Will. I don't really know him because I don't really listen to 97.1 like that, but he's on the ticket. But we're gonna go ahead and get into it, man. He talked about a lot of stuff. And it was all basically free agency and philosophy, a lot of things that we've heard before, but there was some contradictions. Oh, there was some contradictions. Brad Holmes has some things today. We're gonna bring in the audio. You know how we do. We got the timestamps cut up, and we gonna go with it. We're gonna go with it. All right. The financial reality and prove it contracts. Let's go ahead and get started with that.
The scenarios that you're also trying to play out. So just wider view free agency, you guys hand out 14 free agent contracts, all but one were one-year deals. That's generally how you guys have operated in the past. And we should probably pause to mention that most free agent contracts in the NFL tend to be one-year deals. But can you explain to our larger audience why those one-year deals fit your team building plan right now?
Yeah. So, we have, I think I'm trying to find the most concise way to explain this. We knew what kind of financial constraints that we were in.
He says the two words, financial constraints, about 30 times in this entire interview. I think he's trying to throw somebody under the bus. I think he's trying to throw some shade, but we'll talk about it.
In entering this, and it had to take a lot more looking at everybody from top to bottom. When you have more money to spend and lesser constraints financially, you can do a lot more focus on just the
financial constraints again. Why are you talking about these financial constraints? I forgot this man's name. Brad, what are you trying to say? What message are you trying to put out there? Financial constraints. Who's constraining you financially? Let's continue to listen.
Mid to upper echelon guys, and you don't have to really you can get to the, let's call them tier 2 and 3 and 4 guys a little bit later. But when we're looking at the constraints that we had financially,
goddamn financial constraints again. This man been talking for a minute and a half and has said financial constraints 3 times. I told y'all, something there, something going on. What the hell is going on in the bank in my home? Sheila, wait, let me explain before you start to point your cane.
Entering in, it's okay, all right, we're not going to be able to do a lot of multi-year deals because for what we're trying to do with these extensions that we have upcoming, the implications that it would have on our cap would be, I don't want to call it crippling, but it would have been hard to overcome. Guess I should say. So we were kind of limited in how many multi-year deals that we actually could get, and that takes a part we can want that, but then the player and the agent has to agree to it too. And so it's not like you're looking for prove it kind of guys, but you can find a lot of good football players that maybe have started out playing some good football and had some bumps in the road. And
what kind of bumps in the road is he talking about? Injury bumps? Because that's usually the thing that kind of derails a career. You don't just start out playing well unless it's a rookie season like CJ Stroud, and then you hit the sophomore slump, then you hit the junior slump, then you hit the senior slump. CJ Stroud been slumping since he was in 9th grade. I'm just trying to tell you.
They're kind of get it back, and they want to just do a prove it deal. You factor an age into that. But it did make a lot of sense of where we're at from a financial constraint standpoint.
Damn, my man. 4 times in 2 minutes. This dude said financial constraints. What is he trying to tell us? What is Brad Holmes trying to tell us with that gobbledygook that he just spit out? Oh, we know that an agent and a player have to want to be here for multiple years. But dog, if you're trying to tell me that this Detroit Lions culture and it's this, that, and the third thing, and we Super Bowl contenders, and we're gonna address that later. We're gonna address that a little bit later. We Super Bowl contenders, and we doing all this. What the actual theft are we talking about? You signed 14 contracts, and I think only one of them was a multi-year deal. So that means you got 13 players that didn't want to be here behind 1 year. I don't know about that. That doesn't make a lot of sense. But you know, the financial constraints situation is very, 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 very interesting because I've been telling y'all, Sheila Ford Hamp ain't got that guap. She ain't got that guap. Yo, she ain't got that guap. I said Sheila Ford Hamp ain't got that guap. She ain't got that guap. No, she ain't got that guap. Well, I mean, she got guap. I mean, she's a millionaire. I mean, a billionaire. Sorry. Put some respect on her name. A billionaire with a B. So she's got tons of guap. She's got all types of guap, man. You're right. She boing, boing, man. I need your guap in my hand, you know. Yeah. Yeah, baby. She's got the guap, man. Okay? She's got the guap. But is she spending the guap on the Detroit Lions football team? I don't know. I can't tell you. Sammy Davis Jr. is out. All right. Let me get what y'all got going. Hey, man, keep the comments coming because we got a lot to talk about today. MCDP, when are you going to dye your hair blue? Brother, I don't see myself dyeing my hair blue in the future. That's not, I don't see that one. I don't see it. I mean, if we go to a Super Bowl, maybe. But I don't know if these are the guys that take us. You see, I don't know if Brad and Dan are the guys that take us to the Super Bowl. Nah. You know, because Brad says the darndest things. Gave me some chocolate cake. Dad is great. My Jello pudding pops got the pudding pop. 50 cents a whop for the pudding pop. I said the 50 cents a whop for the pudding pop. I said the 50 cents a whop is what Brad's paying these free agents. I said it's 50 cents a whop for the pudding pop. We ain't breaking the bank for the pudding pop. Yeah, pudding pop not gonna stop being 50 cents a whop for the pudding pop. Yeah. All right. If you need a mod, I'm your boy Don. I've been one for 8 years with Derek. I do have a couple of mods. Stick around for a while and I'll give you one. I just don't want to be like a certain person out there, a certain sucker who apparently be taking shots at me, even though dude owes me cash. You owe me money, but you taking shots at me. That's neither here nor there. I don't want to be like that sucker because he got about 85,000 mods up in there. Some of the mods he pays to, you know, buy, donate memberships to people. Oh, it's some shady business going on. Seeding the tip jar. You ain't get the members yourself. You ain't get the memberships because they wanted to be members. No, you paid for the memberships on your own. Yeah, I know the T. I spill it all. Keep saying my name. Yeah, keep saying, say my name. If no one is around you, say, baby, I love you. If you ain't running game, say my name. You acting kind of crazy. Ain't calling me baby. Please keep saying my name. Yeah, okay. Finesse in Cap League, right? Oh, we rolling today. My son, as in my youngest one, middle name is Davis, and I named them after Sammy Davis. It's actually William Davis. Well, there you go. Shaboing, boing, man. You need my middle name in your hand. Yeah, baby. Sammy Davis. Oh. All right. Let's see what we got. I know that dude you talking about. Oh, yeah, you know. Oh, you know. For sure, you know. Oh, yeah. You have no idea how to do that. We'll teach you. We'll teach you how to Dougie. That'd be my smooth. What? Could you teach me how to Dougie? You know why? Because all the beaches love me. You know what I'm saying? All right, bet. When we win the Super Bowl, you will dye your hair blue. Yeah. Yes. That's a thing. I'll do that. All right, let's continue.
Just to ask about maybe a departure of Dave Montgomery. I know you and Dan both mentioned you wanted him back. Can you kind of just walk through the timeline of how, that all came to be with him going to Houston and the return you got?
Yeah. Look, it was pretty.
Get ready for the cap. Get ready for the cap because it's coming. Oh, the cap is coming.
It was evident that there were less touches that he had. And look, a lot of it is it's not just him. It's how Jameer had ascended, and so me and Davis.
We're going to talk about the ascension of Jameer a little bit later on because the ascension of Jameer has to coincide with the ascension of the offensive line, and Brad Holmes didn't do him any favors. I just want to put that out there. We're going to talk about it, though.
Agent, we all had, and David, we all had really, really healthy dialogue.
Healthy.
Healthy. And so we just kind of thought it was best for all parties. It was right after the end of the season that, let's just see if, we can get the proper return. I told his agent, I was just like, look, this guy's a good player, man. Like, we're not just giving him away, So we were happy with the return that we got. I'm happy for David. I think he's in a good spot, but that's going to be not only a loss of just a player, but he was such an impact on our locker room from a leadership standpoint, our culture. But it was all healthy dialogue. There was never any bad blood or anything, and I think it worked out well for both parties.
Brett.
The dialogue can't be healthy when you're capping to me. You're lying. Because you're a liar, and that's what liars do. You're lying to me. Are we gonna do some blues now? Which we got any blues fans out there? Woke up this morning, got out of bed, woke up this morning, what Brad Holmes done said. He said David Montgomery was getting less carries, but it didn't say Dan, because it didn't want to bury. These healthy conversations that can't be true. Why you lying to me? I ain't been lying to you. All right, we're gonna continue. We're gonna keep it going. We're gonna keep it going. All right. So I don't again, a lot of cap. It's lies. It's a bunch of lies. David Montgomery can't be happy to be in Houston. You know why he's not happy to be in Houston? Because Houston doesn't have an offensive line. So even though you're going to get more carries, you might get 200-300 more carries. That's cool, but you're not going to go anywhere. That's the problem.
In a league where running backs maybe aren't valued like they used to be, the consensus seems to be that you guys landed a really nice return here. 2 draft picks, obviously a potentially valuable roster player in Juice Scruggs. The report was that David's preferred destination was Houston. I'm sure you guys entertain more options than just Houston, but can you explain how you navigated his trade market and just how pleased you were with the ultimate return?
Yeah, really, I knew he would have a market because he's a good player and he's still, in a prime.
All right, so with that's fine. All right, let's go to we don't want to talk too much about David Montgomery. I mean, do we care? I don't really care about adding Isaiah Pacheco. All right, let's go down to the Taylor Decker situation. Let's get to that.
You remember that? Huh?
Yeah.
It's a good quote. It's come back several times.
Appreciate it. How's the garden looking this week?
Well, it's
All right, let's go back a little bit. Talking about the garden.
better in some places. Some places we got some. Yeah, it's a good quote. It's come back. So
When you run with the type of urgency that he runs with, I mean, you can will your way to do a lot of things, whether if it's, okay, well, he had to push through an injury here and there. Look, in this game, you're never going to be 100%. It's a physical game, and he understands that. But I don't have any concerns about what he's been through or anything. I don't have a crystal ball either. But just right now, we're really excited.
The tail end of Pacheco.
want to pivot back to your garden.
Yeah,
Your offensive line.
yeah. You remember that? Huh?
Yeah, it's a good quote. It's come back several times.
Appreciate it. How's the garden looking this week?
Well, it's better in some places. Some places we got some question marks,
Okay.
right? And
All
so the Decker situation was a little bit of a roller coaster
Yeah.
from us on the outside, right? He announced he's coming back at the combine right after we talked to you.
Yeah.
Not saying that your conversation, spurred him to make that.
This comment is crazy. He said, I like Brad because he doesn't say anything, so he never lies. Oh, that's crazy. It's kind of true, but he does lie.
Announcement, but a couple weeks later, he's asking for his release, and so I'm
Yeah.
wondering, I guess, as you're weighing the scenarios of how all these things play out, were you surprised at all with how that worked out? And then just given what he's meant to the team, the same way David, meant to the team, is there any disappointment from the franchise and kind of the way the thing played out?
Now here, once he gives this answer, I have a two-pronged response to that. So let's listen to this one.
I wouldn't say I would say it's disappointment or really surprise. Either way, I think a lot of those situations that happen, it all starts with communication, and what you communicated with the player, what you communicated with the player's agent, and so it starts there. But there was really no surprises. Again, you don't know when a player is going to put something out. So if you want to say that if there's a prize, maybe that was a surprise. But in terms of the decisions that he made, I want to say that would be a surprise. Again, he's been a really good player for our franchise for a really long time. So he's going to be missed. I know the fans are going to miss him. The locker room's going to miss him. But unfortunately, those are the kind of difficult decisions that have to be made at times. But we wish him nothing but the best. I know that he was a favorite. He always has been, and just wish him the best of luck going forward.
Yeah, so Brad's not saying too much of anything. But here's the one thing that I'm going to agree with him on one side, and then I'm going to disagree with him on the other side, because I believe in this situation, it took two to tango. The first thing that I'm going to agree with him is he was surprised by what Taylor Decker put out. Taylor Decker, I've told you before, when we talked about this on the show, I said Taylor Decker was clutching his pearls in the media. Me? After all I've done for this, and it's going to come out with a British accent. I don't know why. Me? After all I've done for this team, 10 years, 175 games, 147 starts, and me, I'm the one that they asked. I was surprised by this. I was blindsided. I didn't understand it. I didn't know. I didn't see it coming. They talked to me about contract talks and all of these things and all that rough. So he was surprised that Taylor Decker did all that in the media. And that's why I was like, yo, bro is clutching his pearls. You are old and you are mentally retired already. Once you stood at your locker and said all of that stuff about how you weren't prepared to do what you had to do to get yourself back on the field, well, brother, you were retired already. Okay. Now, the thing that I do not agree with Brad about is the way that it was handled. The way that it was handled when you're coming to him, you're talking about these financial constraints. Okay. Did you have the conversation with him before when he was going to make his decision about retirement? Did you go say, hey, look, man, I'm over here, detective. If you decide to come back, Taylor, we're going to have a talk about some the contract and the monies that you may be owed. We may want you to take a pay cut. So if you're not comfortable with that, just let us know and make sure that you do that when you make your decision. Right? So if Taylor Decker didn't get that information and then you come to him, you could have found that money elsewhere, bro. I mean, you have not touched Penei Sewell. You have not touched Amon-Ra St. Brown. Pause. You haven't touched their contracts. You didn't even restructure Jared Goff all the way. So then you're sitting up here talking about financial constraints and so on and so forth, where you've got three players that had you done something with each of their contracts, you would have freed up $110 million roughly in cap space this year. So, I mean, cap space is what we're going to call it. Cap space is the name of Brad Holmes' office. Cap space. If you know, you know. All right, let's see what we got here. Answer was sure. What up, though, Irv Gotti? Decker ain't coming back. No, he's not. He's not coming back. He basically said what I've been saying that I wanted Sheila to say, which is basically we don't have the money needed to build a Super Bowl team. But as I told you, Sheila can't say that because then Sheila looks bad. Because Sheila has options, which I have been saying since the offseason started. Sheila, sell some of the team, not a controlling interest. Don't sell your controlling interest. Very fine interest. It's controlling. You got to keep it. They tried to get it from me, but I'm still here. They tried to get it, but I'm still here. You've got to keep your interest in the team. Very fine team. Very fine. Very nice. Very good people. The Detroit Lions, very, very good team. They tried to take it from me, but I'm still here. Right? You can't sell the controlling interest. Cool. No problem. Sell some stock and some shares. Bring in Matt Ishbia, Michigan guy. Bring in Tom Gores, Michigan guy. Owner of the Suns, owner of the Pistons. Bring him in. Get some of those billions infused in here. Give them a kickback, a percentage. It's an investment. They can invest in the Detroit Lions and they get a return. Whatever, however they want to do the return, dividends, whatever, quarterly, yearly, whatever they want to do. Give them what they want. You keep 51% of the team. Those two guys split the remaining 49. Therefore, you are the principal owner and you are the controller of the franchise. But you get guys with much deeper pockets in here to pay the money. Because later on, we're going to talk about some other stuff that he said that didn't make any goddamn sense. None at all. All right. Is he holding back for what is he planning, if anything? Oh, we're going to talk about plans. We're going to talk about plans. Mm-hmm.
Outside looking in, Brad, it felt like the offensive tackle market in free agency was maybe a little bit depressed, like really good proven players signing for maybe less than anticipated. Yeah. How did that market play out relative to your?
Remember, Rasheed Walker signed for about $10 million, something like that. So he's talking about things like that But then you're gonna see.
Internal projections or evaluations.
We're gonna blow your mind.
Well,
Mind.
I would say
Mind.
it's
We gonna blow
I
your
think
mind.
Going back to just the evaluation aspect of it. So, you have some guys that we know a lot more well known, had started a lot more games. We're probably going to be in line for a lot more money or a larger payday. But looking at Larry Bourne, man, obviously did a lot of work on him coming out in the draft process. When it was with Chicago, had a lot of exposure of him playing a lot of different spots. But seeing what he did at Miami, especially at right tackle, and then when you start looking at the film, it's like, man, like this is probably about the most consistent ball that I've seen him play. And so then you start taking a deeper dive of him at right tackle, even in the past, and you start seeing this level of consistency versus the guard spots or the tackle spots. And not saying he can't play those spots too, because he can, but that's what kept him up there for us. And then again, there are constraints, so you have to always weigh in that as well. So I think in terms of the player and his ability and his fit, and then it was a player that we were able to fit from a financial standpoint as well. Because really I keep using the word constraint. So let me break that down real quick.
Please do, Brad.
So
because you keep using
and I didn't even realize this until probably a couple of years ago, actually, is our first 3 years, 21, 22, 23, we're just going, man. We're drafting, we're signing.
He didn't realize this until, brother. What do you mean? What do you mean? You are the general manager of the Detroit Lions. You need to realize everything that you've done. You need to realize every draft pick that you've made, whether it's been a hit or a miss, or we're still, the book is still out. You need to realize every free agency signing that you've made. Was it a good signing or a bad signing or somewhere in between? You need to realize every trade that you've made. Was it a valuable trade? Was it this, that, or the third? And was it good? Did it work out? Did you get fleeced? Did you fleece somebody else or somewhere in between? You need to realize every cut that you've made. Was it the right decision? Did you keep the right guy? Should you have maybe cut the guy that you kept and kept the guy that you cut? Did you need to? What do you mean? I didn't realize this until a little while ago. What are you talking about, bro? What does that mean? As a general manager, what do those words that just came out of your mouth mean? All right.
We're trading. We're just building, man. And so I think it was like entering the 24 season, and I looked back and it was like, wow. I was like, man, okay. We had a first round pick in 21, right? That we've had to extend it, right? We had 2 first round picks in 22. They've been rewarded. We had 2 first round picks in 23. We would like to reward them. Well, in 23, our 2 second round picks we had as first rounders. So you can already say that those were 7 first round caliber players that have all kind of reached what we thought they were going to be able to reach within 3 years. So it's like, man, that's 7 first rounders that have all come like.
No, you didn't. You didn't tell me that, Rich. Got the victory buffs. Look, we've heard this all before. Heard it all before, but your lies ain't working now. We've heard it all before, Brad. Get to your point, man.
The players that we
did I miss the part that he said about Larry Borum starting? Because
vision versus, we've selected the players, but we have great coaching. Point with the extensions that we have upcoming. That's why I talk about the constraint standpoint. So, because I don't want you guys to ever think that, or anybody to ever think that we have a lot of money that we have it, we don't want to spend it. No, we're actually spending everything that we have available to us. You know what I mean? And so that's what I wanted to kind of make clear. You guys probably already knew that already, but I just if that clears it up for the fans. But it is something that
Watch what happens next.
As we were signing and drafting and getting all these players, we were just going, man. And then you're looking back and it's like, man,
we were just going, man. We were signing and drafting players, and we were just cooking up the food, man. We was just going. And we was in the kitchen, and we were just cooking, man. And we was just I said, I gave my wife, I said, come here. I said, give me the chicken, man. And she gave me the chicken, and she passed me the popcorn, man. And we was just cooking, man. We didn't even know what we was doing. We were just cooking. And we were just cooking, man. The frick out of here, bro.
That's a lot, man. And so, talk about constraints. We're trying to get as many players as we can.
I think he said it about 12 times at this point. Constraints, financial constraints.
And there are many good football players that we can that fit us within the constraints.
You got to stop drafting so well.
We've done some good things.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They're not always going to be perfect. I've been very accountable. There's some that have not reached.
You haven't said a damn thing about Broderick Martin. You haven't said a damn thing about Hendon Hooker. You haven't said a damn thing about Colby Sorsdahl. You haven't said a damn thing. Oh, you're going to say something about Ennis Rakeshaw a little bit later, which is crazy. So he raises his hand talking about, I've been accountable. No, you haven't. Why are you always lying? You know what? Where is it at?
You lying? Why you always lying? Oh my God.
The expectations, but we've been on a run where, and it's been our foundation, and like it's been our nucleus. So it's like when you have these high upside young players that fit, that are really good players that can help our football team, and we're trying to keep our sustainability at a good level. And so
what? Sustainability. See, that's sustained success BS. That sustained success BS. We do not care about sustained success. Brother, we had Barry Sanders for 10 years. We had Barry Sanders for 10 years, and we had a bumbling front office. We had a bumbling head coach. And we got to the NFC Championship game one time. And you know what I could say to you, though? You know what I could say to you about that front office, about that GM, about that tenure of Detroit Lions football? It felt like they were trying to win. Do y'all like, and anybody who's that old, because I know we got some old brothers in here. Did it feel like they were trying to win to you, but something would happen? Wayne Fonts would do some craziness. We would lose in some crazy way. Or the ball just didn't bounce our way. Did it feel like they were trying to win? Because right now, when you're sitting up here telling me that you can't sign a free agent because you've got these 7 first-round picks that you had in the first 2 years that you've got to pay. And you've got this great young nucleus. But this young nucleus is so expensive that you can't actually do anything. That's crazy, right? This young nucleus is so expensive that you can't actually go out and add better players around them. So I hope those 7 first-round picks are going to win you a Super Bowl. Because were those 7 first-round picks healthy last season? Let's see. Who are the 7 first-round picks we're talking about? Aiden Hutchinson. Was he healthy? Yes. Jamison Williams. Was he healthy? Yes. Jahmyr Gibbs. Was he healthy? Yes. Jack Campbell. Was he healthy? Yes. Sam Laporta. Not a first round, but you had a first round grade on him, right? So Sam Laporta, was he healthy? Yeah, for most of the season. Right? I think he got hurt in week 10 against the Commanders. Was Brian Branch healthy? Yes, for most of the season. That's why we say he ain't going to play most of this season because he tore his Achilles in December. That's 6. Who's the other first round pick we're talking about? Who's the other first round pick? Penei Sewell. Boom. Okay, Penei Sewell. Was he healthy? Maybe he was hampered by injury a little bit in there. Okay, we had 7 of those guys available for the most of the season. We were 9-8. We were 9-8. Which is a winning season. We missed the playoffs. Sustainability? What do we mean? What does that word mean? Sustainability. Who cares, bro? We're trying to win a Super Bowl. Who cares? F them picks is where you came from. My man won a Super Bowl the year of the trade. Had a down year where he didn't make the playoffs. And 2-3 years later is back in the NFC Championship game and was a muffed punt away from going to the Super Bowl. Les Snead says F them picks. That's who you learned under. What is the sustainability crap? Who cares? F them picks don't give a damn about sustainability, but F them picks is better than you. So we beat the Rams like every time we played them for 2 years in a row. Whoop-de-frickin-do. Awesome. We booed Kelly Stafford and her children. Awesome. We booed Matt Stafford. Awesome. But Matt Stafford has played in 2 NFC Championship games since he left here. We've played in 1. Matt Stafford has been to a Super Bowl and won it. We have not even been to a Super Bowl. We don't care. We don't care. We don't care about sustainability. Who cares? How many Lombardis are in our trophy case? We have 4 championships, world championships. Before it was called the Super Bowl. Our last one was in 1957. I wasn't born. My father was 12. And you're talking to me about sustainability. Who freaking cares? Get more money in here. You said you're spending all the money that you have available to you. No, you're not. You know how I know that? Because Jared Goff had a $69 million cap hit. And you would not even whittle it down to the lowest possible amount. Penei Sewell has a high cap hit, and you didn't even go to him and say, we're about to restructure you. Amon-Ra St. Brown has a high cap hit, and you didn't even say, hey, we're going to restructure you. And if you go to them and restructure them, guess what? You got $110 million. Where you can go and sign other people. Well, you don't have to employ the bargain bin Brad method. And we're going to get into that a little bit later because he's got some more BS to say about that stuff. Let me get to all your comments because I'm ranting. I hate when the media always glaze Brad Holmes about his past drafting. Yeah, because we're not like, what's the present drafting? I need to see 10 test downs to feel better about 3 third-round picks. Oh, we're going to talk about that. 10? Bruh, that man better have 25. I don't care nothing about no 10. 3 third-round picks, and we don't have one, and now we've got to make some trades to maneuver into the third round this draft. We're going to talk about that. Brad loves to crow about his home runs, but ignores his strikeouts. Oh, facts. SOLs is full of ish, happens, sprinkled with a few yellow flags like salt in a wound. I think Sheila and her lot want that sustainability. But we don't care about that. In my opinion, and I've tried to change my opinion several times, I still don't think players want to come to Detroit like the narrative of being a destination suggests. Well, today, I will agree with you. In 2023, I wouldn't agree with you. After the 2024 season, where we were 15-2, I wouldn't have agreed with you. But we're prioritizing re-signing Marcus Davenport. You went 15-2 with a completely depleted defense, and you did what on the defensive side of the football? You drafted Tyleik Williams. You re-signed Marcus Davenport. You brought in El-Quadin Muhammad, which was a good move. We didn't know it was going to be a good move because he was just a practice squad guy at that point. I feel the only reason why Sheila hasn't tanked BH is because she doesn't want to look like a failure. There may be some validity to that because really, if you look at it, none of the 4 kids want anything to do with the franchise. None of them wanted to take it over. She's the only one that wanted to. And imagine having to go to Thanksgiving dinner and all the family gatherings, and they be looking at her like, this is what you did? You thought you was going to do something. You thought you was going to be different, huh? You thought you was going to be different, huh? This franchise is cursed. This franchise is cursed. Maybe I should just sell it. Hell no, we make too much money. We're all billionaires with a B. What do you mean? $13 billion collectively. No, we're not selling anything.
We're not trying to do this one and done kind of thing. So, you can take.
We're not trying to do one and done. Don't you have to get one to be one and done first? Don't you have to do that? Like, you have to get one to be one and done. Right? When they say it takes 2 to tango, you need 2 people. You can't be running around telling people it takes 2 to tango when you're the only one tangoing. So you can't be one and done if you don't have one. I don't understand it.
2 different approaches. You could be, well, let's not extend these players, and then let's get more expensive free agents.
Or, and here's the thought, I'm just spitballing here. Or you can extend the players, then you can use the contract mechanisms that are in place, like restructures, to free up cap space. So then you can go and sign expensive free agents, 1 or 2, that will put you over the top. I mean, it's just a thought. I'm just spitballing here. I'm just spitballing. Just a thought. Maybe you could do that. because it's not all linear. This is the problem. When Brad Holmes sits down and talks to people, he thinks that he's talking to morons and idiots. And in some cases, he may be. Justin Rogers has been covering this team for years. Jeff Iafrate started out at Woodward Sports and he came in and got, crunch time. Colton Pouncey works for The Athletic. And as I said, the Will dude is on 97.1 The Ticket. Bro, all these people do is talk about the team. You think they don't know how contracts work? I know how contracts work, and I'm not on a network. It's not one or the other. It's not black and white. It's not linear. Well, if we restructure this guy, or if we extend this guy, then we can't get a free agent. But if we want to get a free agent, then we can't extend this guy. That's how contracts work, guys. I don't know if you know this, but this is... Maybe you guys should come sit in my office so I can explain it to you. Bruh, it doesn't work that way. I also don't think Dan really likes BH. What's your thoughts, bruh? After that Broderick Martin thing, I think they're in love with each other because that was crazy. That is crazy. Lions fan syndicate, what up, though? All right, let's continue.
Well, are we sure that that's the right move, or is that going to give us the right amount of sustainability that we're looking for? So
again, we're talking about sustainability. What are you sustaining? Here's a question for you guys in the chat. What does sustained success actually mean? Because when we talk about each NFL season, we say that there's one pass and there's 31 failures. There's one winner and there's 31 losers. Why is that the case? That is the case because we need a Super Bowl to be successful. Now, being a good team means that you're in the hunt for a Super Bowl. I get that part. So maybe sustained success to them means that, well, we'll sustain success. And eventually, when everything lines up, the chips fall where they may, and we get all the breaks that we need to get, and we get lucky, and we prepare to be lucky instead of prepare to be good, or to prepare to be great, then we'll eventually get a Super Bowl because the odds say that you can't go on forever. You can't go on for 100 years and not get a Super Bowl. Well, we've been going on for 60 and ain't seen one. So I don't even understand where this idea of sustainability comes from. Yeah, we want to be a good team, but swing for the fences, Brad. I just told you, F them picks is where you came from. You came from a person in Les Snead who doesn't give a damn about draft picks, who will go and trade the draft picks for expensive veterans. And he will build a Super Bowl team by trading draft picks. Like the Rams didn't have a first round pick for 5, 6, 7 years. And they won a Super Bowl and just missed out on going to another one. Oh, I would have been so sick to see Matthew Stafford in another Super Bowl. But they were a muffed punt away. Yes, they have more money than you. Awesome. Great. Sam Kroenke has more money than Sheila Fordham. Ooh, why don't we sell the team so Sheila can get more money? And I don't mean sell the whole team. I've explained this already. Sell some shares. I said Stan Kroenke. Sorry, I said Sam. Sam Presti, Stan Kroenke. It doesn't make sense what you're sitting up here trying to feed us. It really doesn't. And if Sheila can't open up her pocketbook, then she needs to go ahead and sell some shares, sell some steak, a nice T-bone, a nice ribeye. I know these are different steaks. Somebody gonna be like, "Oh, you don't. That's not even that. Did that? Don't even do that. Don't do that with me. Don't do that with me." Okay, I know the English language. What in the Timu Detroit Syndicate is going on here? You probably being blocked, I guess. I don't know. Let me know if you want to be. It's cool. Come to my office and we'll talk over sharing a Big Mac. Derek is hot, bro. Derek is hot. All right, let's see.
Those are the decisions that we're always weighing. So when I bring up financial constraints, it's like, look, man, like, all right, say you have hypothetically, say you have a $20 million budget.
Oh, this is good. This is awesome. All right, I want y'all to listen to this because y'all don't know this. That he's breaking it down. It's awesome. All right, listen to this.
I feel like I'm going on.
I don't know. Like I didn't hear it if he said, but just to circle back, Larry Borum is your starter. Just your starting tackle. I just want to let you know that.
Off topic.
No, please go ahead.
But it was just on my mind a little bit. But say you had hypothetically, say you had like a $20 million budget for free agency. Well, you can look at one guy and say, look, man, you can get that one player. And say you get that one player. Well, say that one player's $19 million of that 20. Mm-hmm. Well, what else are you gonna get? So then you're trying to say, well, center, defensive end, DBs, you want that. That stuff adds up, man. And so you have to make the decision. So when you do your vertical stacking, you have to look at it horizontally as well and say, you want this one player, but also you got to look at the gaps that I was talking about. You know, if player A is this much more money, if player B, if the gap is that much closer, is that a $10 million gap? Or is that kind of a $2 or $3 million gap? And so then it's like, well, maybe it makes more sense that if we get this B player that is, or this second player, then we can also get 3, 4, 5. Or if we just get A, you're just A and then that's it. And so those are the kind of decisions that we always have to make.
Bring us back to Borum really quick. And I think,
Okay, here it
simple
comes.
answer. You don't have a starting depth chart now because why would you? You've got the draft coming up. But if push comes to shove, you view Larry Borum as starting capable. Is that fair to say?
Oh, he started a lot of games.
Yeah.
Larry Borum is your starter. Here's so if you sign player A, then that precludes you from signing player B, C, D, E, F, and G. Cool? Okay. Here's a question. Would you guys rather have Max Crosby or the trio of DJ Wanham, Peyton Turner, and Damone Clark? Which would you rather have? And I'll put it like that. Would you rather have Carlton Davis and guys or DJ Reed Terrion Arnold, and Ennis Rakestraw. I just want to know. Let me know in the chat. The guys that he's talking about, the B, C, D, E, F, and G guys, don't amount to one of the A players. It's not like you signed a bunch of second tier guys, right? And you had the first tier guy. All right, or let's say you had the S tier guy, right? He's the S tier guy, Max Crosby. And instead of signing Max Crosby, you signed 3 A tier guys. Cool. That's awesome. You went from S tier, Max Crosby. I'm just using Max Crosby as an example because they were never going to trade for Max Crosby because they were never going to pay him because they have all these financial constraints, according to Brad Holmes. Okay? So you had all these financial constraints. And then you said, okay, cool. I'm going to take Max Crosby off the table because of the financial constraints. And I'm going to sign D tier players. So you went from S tier, you skipped over A, B, and C tier, and you went down to the D tier. Make it make sense. Make it make sense because I can't. But Larry Borum is your starting tackle. Just in case. So this we're talking about the emergence of Jahmyr Gibbs. Larry Borum is your starting left tackle. Hopefully he balls out, I guess.
Well, on top of that, I guess the pivot from that, staying on the voice of the fan base, the number one thing I get asked the most is, or at least told the most more so, is Penei Sewell playing left tackle. When is Penei Sewell going to play left tackle? And I guess I'll ask you, has there been any conversations maybe this offseason, or have you floated the idea around maybe post Taylor Decker? Because I know you like to go into free agency, address needs, and then the draft is best player available. Has that maybe crossed your mind, the idea of him playing left tackle?
Oh, yeah. I think that's the beauty of having a player like him is that you always have that flexibility.
I don't really care about this answer. I didn't really care about the question. All right. Let's move on to something else.
Continuity and loyalty, right? And you've hit a wall with maybe some financial restrictions you talk about. So you've had to say goodbye to some guys that have been a big part of this, whether Alex.
No, it hasn't been.
Here we go.
With some of these.
So basically, there hasn't been any recent dialogue. He's talking about somebody asked him, I don't remember. Somebody asked him about Taylor Decker. Is he gone? Is it a possibility he can come back? And he said he doesn't, close the door on anything, but there hasn't been any talks.
Changes this offseason. Maybe some of the hallmarks of this franchise under you and Dan has been kind of continuity and loyalty, right? And you've hit a wall with maybe some financial restrictions you talk about. So you've had to say goodbye to some guys that have been a big part of this, whether Alex, Amik, Khalif. How difficult is that part of the job? Because you haven't had to do that a whole lot up till this point.
That's a great question, Justin, because it
what up, the 313 Thug Living?
Things. And it's not just because of the bonds you form with them. Like, yeah, that organically kind of happens, but those guys have been good players for us, man. So they're good in the locker room. They're great teammates. They're good players. They were productive. They were the right guys to have. And look, it's hard because we love to keep them all, but you just can't. And those are the hard decisions you make. But I try to be as transparent as possible with the players and their agents, and just to make sure that there's no lack of clarity. But I always say, if there's a possibility, I try to be as clear as that, is that there's a possibility. If I have a good indication that it's like, I don't think we're going to be able to afford you, you just got to have that, conversation with them. And it's tough, but I do think that they respect the truth and just telling them like, hey, look, we're going to try, but it's going to be hard because we got some constraints. And whether it's the player or the agent.
I told you.
Some players or the agent just say, I just don't know if we would love to have you. I just don't know if we're going to financially be able to get it.
He's used, I'm telling you, he says financial constraints 30 times, maybe 50. This is cap, bro. This is cap. Why is it cap? Because Alex Anzalone, David Montgomery, Taylor Decker would not be sitting up here angry about leaving if Brad had those clear, concise conversations with them about not being able to afford things financially. Now, maybe he's having those conversations, and these players, via their agents and via understanding how NFL contracts work, because they've all signed multiple of them, are sitting up here saying, this is cap. We don't believe what you're saying. You're telling me there's financial constraints. Alex Anzalone is saying, well, you're telling me that we had to pay Derek Barnes. That's what you're telling me? And because you had to pay Derek Barnes, you couldn't afford me? That's what you're saying? I just don't think it's as clear and as transparent as Brad Holmes is trying to say that he's being. Because no one is coming out saying, well, I appreciate their honesty, but we just get El Qadim Muhammad. We're going to talk about that a little bit later. El Qadim Muhammad was like, I don't know why they chose what they chose, and I don't care. I'm a Tampa Bay Buccaneer. He said all he needed to say by not saying too much.
So the need or the choice to inject some fresh blood into this building, into this.
Oh, listen to this one. Oh, this is possibly my favorite. This is possibly my favorite. Come on.
Team, how much did last year's maybe disappointing finish play into that, or was that really just a financially driven decision that you guys made?
No, I don't think it was really a financial decision. Look, now that was a bad taste. That was a bad taste, and the whole time, as let's call it the 2 months of worth of just scouting and evaluating free agents, that is like constantly in my head. That's written up on my whiteboard, and so that's why I knew that we just like we had to do the best we can, and we had to
think about the whiteboard.
Our standards, nail this free agency the best way possible. And look, I'm not going to say anything is perfect, but we feel really, really good with what we were able to accomplish. But it just kind of happened to come out that way. But we weren't like, we got to get younger. Like, if that wasn't the intention, it was just like, it just happens to be the right players that we wanted to target, the players that we wanted to bring back just kind of happened to fit in that mold.
I want to bring up a very...
How does a GM, a general manager who presides over the team, who has to make decisions on the roster building, trades, free agency, draft, contracts, how does this man tell you that this wasn't part of the plan? It's just the way that it happened. Like, it just happened that way. I wasn't planning to do that. It just happened. I've had something like a recent event that happened in my life where it truly wasn't my plan. Like, I truly did not plan it. It's just the way that the cards were dealt and the chips fell where they may. So I made a decision based on things that were happening. That is not the way a GM is supposed to go about roster building. We just happened to get younger. None of the guys that we went into this free agency looking at were brought in here because of their age. None of the guys that left here in free agency left here because of their age. Age wasn't a factor. Age ain't nothing but a number. I mean, is anyone buying this? Is anyone buying it? I need to know. Is anyone buying it? That the general manager of the Detroit Lions is sitting up here telling you that he doesn't know how he got younger. It just happened. He doesn't know how the team got younger. He doesn't know how the roster got younger. It just happened. It's happened. Okay, cool.
Under discussed, overlooked, cast aside topic in this town.
Yeah.
Edge rusher. It's about time, Brad, someone talks about edge rusher in this town. You guys have tried different players across from Hutch over the past few seasons. None have really stuck from year to year.
This is great.
Seemed like a great signing last year. Of course, 11 sacks. He signs for similar money as Tampa as you guys gave Wanham to sign here.
Listen to this, because this is the capologist at his finest. Listen to this.
Can you just explain 2 seasons? None have really stuck from year to year. AQM seemed like a great signing last year. Of course, 11 sacks. He signed for similar money as Tampa as you guys gave Wanham to sign here. Can you just explain your thought process in choosing, in some ways, Wanham over Al-Qadim Muhammad?
Well, actually, it wasn't. It wasn't one of. It didn't come down to that. It didn't come down to this player versus the other. He was another one that I knew what we needed to do on the offensive line. We were all very aware of what we were going to do on the offensive line, and so once we made those financial commitments on the offensive line, I pretty much had a good sense that I don't think that we're going to be able to do much else when it comes to that position. That's another expensive position. Like what they call it.
What financial commitments did you make on the offensive line? What financial commitments? Did Kate Mays break the bank? You paid Larry Borum $5 million. What financial commitments? And then you just said, Brad, that it wasn't about choosing one player over the other. But they got similar money. DJ Wanham signed here for similar money and similar value as AQM signing in Tampa Bay. This is Cap. He is a capologist sitting in his house at the Capitol in captivity. The offensive line money that you spent on 2 players was less than $20 million. And you gave DJ Wanham a similar deal to the one that AQM got in Tampa Bay. When AQM was asked in his press conference, his introductory press conference in Tampa Bay, why the Detroit Lions chose what they chose, he said, I don't know why they did, and I don't care. But they're on the schedule. I don't think Brad is as transparent as he says he is. I just don't think so. I just don't think so. I think there's a lot of cap going on. It's a lot of capping. It's a lot of capping. I think they're trying to be discreet too much, and it sounds like they aren't saying anything. Oh, he's saying a ton. He's telling you that he's telling the truth, but he's lying through his teeth. He's lying through his teeth.
You lying? Why you always lying? Oh my God!
You smoke crack, don't you? You smoke crack, don't you? Look at me, boy. Don't you smoke crack?
That's all I'm saying. Muhammad was used primarily only on third downs, not great against the run. No one's been great against the run, really, except for Hutch. That's the crazy part. And then we're gonna talk about we're gonna continue this. What up, though? Let me go, Cardenas. I'm so steaming mad just listening to that Jabberwocky explanation. Fire his ass now before it really gets bad. Hey, man. Sheila can't afford. I see what you did there. A Super Bowl is making more and more sense. I see what you did there.
It's a premium position. So basically, it wasn't like we're choosing this player over that player. I wouldn't even say the financials were exactly the same as well. But just once we made that decision for the offensive line, we made that commitment. It kind of took us out of some of those other options at edge rusher, including Muhammad. And I'm a huge fan of Muhammad. I mean, like I was so happy for what he did.
No, you weren't.
Year. He was another player that had great dialogue with.
No, you didn't.
But just weren't able to make it happen. So again, but we're very excited about finding Wanham.
El Qadim Muhammad, and I quote, I don't know why they decided to do what they did, and I don't care. But they are on the schedule. This dude just said we had healthy dialogue with him. Why is he upset then? If you had healthy dialogue, why does he seem not to know why you chose not to retain him? And he has circled the game on the calendar. That's not what you do when you've had healthy dialogue with someone. You don't have healthy dialogue and then just be like, yo, it's on site. When I see that dude, he better run the other way. Because you already know what it is with me. Chitty, chitty, bang, bang. Lord have mercy. They folks don't fit the budget. Who decided the budget? Oh, Sheila. Ding, 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 ding. AQM ain't no threat like that, though. I'm not even upset. I'm not even upset about AQM. I'm upset that I'm being lied to. Okay. That's what I'm upset about. I'm being lied to. That's it. Right? Oh, what up, though, my guy, Sai? He said, we need a show, man. Hey, set it up, bro. Tomorrow. It's just, oh my goodness, bro. This is crazy. This is crazy. Yeah, they're on the schedule for a losing season. Take that. Like, this man is just capping. Like, that's what, look, go look at the thumbnail. That's why it is what it is. He got the cap on, he got the deal with it glasses, and he got the cigarette. Hey, well, let's listen to him be the lead capologist once again.
Always been a fan of him coming out, especially when he was in the division. He did a lot of great things. He had some things that he had to overcome, but watching his tape last year, it was impressive, and they had him doing some things that were kind of, I would say, probably not right in his wheelhouse. I mean, a lot of dropping and showing some athletic ability in the middle of the field that was refreshing to see. But he can still he can set edges, he can set hard edges, and he can still win rushes. And so he can play all up and down the line. So we're excited to get him.
I know you said it wasn't either or with those two guys, but you didn't start Muhammad in any of the 17 games last year. And obviously, Wanham is that early down player. Is there a stylistic element that is important to you in that position that you needed to address?
Yeah, like we've always been pretty clear about the importance of setting edges in the run game for
I love
our
this
defense in the way that we play. Now, look, at the end of the day, when the first thing you think about when you talk edge rusher, I mean, you gotta get out the quarterback. That's not. You can set edges all day, but if you're not getting after the quarterback, then it is what it is. And look, Muhammad, even if he wasn't the games that he didn't start and all that, but he was getting after the quarterback, but to have the ability to set edges, because I think that's when we're at our best defensively, is to stop the run. If you just are speedballing after the quarterback, then you can get gashed a lot. So
ask Shep about certain games where you got gashed. If you take away those 3 plays where we gave up 45 yards per run, then we really only gave up like 100 yards that game. So we got gashed, and that's been dealt with. It's unacceptable, and it's not going to happen again. Next question. You got to take away those 3 plays where we gave up 45 yards per carry. You got to take away those 3 plays. We can't put those plays into the box score. We can't do that. We got to take those plays away. We gave up 45 yards per carry on those 3 plays. You got to take them away, because it's not fair to these gentlemen in the locker room. It's not fair to these gentlemen who work their ass off for the whole offseason. They come to training camp. They do everything that they're asked to do. But this is unacceptable. The players know it. The coaches know it. And it's not going to happen again. Next question. But we don't get gashed. We don't get gashed, right? Because you take away plays. You hide them from the box score. And the reality, you hide them from the box score. It didn't actually happen. I wasn't watching Warren run up and down. I wasn't watching Gainwell run up and down. You were talking about Warren and Gainwell. Who are these people? I can't even say Warren's first name because I don't even remember if it's Jalen. I don't remember if it's Jaden. What is his first name? Is it Jalen? Is it Jalen Warren? I'm talking about a dude whose first name I don't even know, gashing me for 45 yards a carry. And you're telling me, oh, we got to set edges because when we don't set the edges, we get gashed. Well, who was not setting the edge? Because we got gassed for 45 yards a carry 3 times in the same game. Maybe just like Brad Holmes doesn't define aggressive, I need someone to define gashed, because clearly I don't know what it means. Are we serious? When restructuring, she's putting the money up front compared to the decades prior. She's spending money. Oh, yeah, but she's not spending enough of it. Sell shares to Matt Ishbia, sell shares to Tom Gores, sell shares of the team to the guy that donated all that money to Michigan, the University of Michigan. You got 3 guys right there. They got tons of money. I just don't understand. Brad wants and guys. This press conference didn't do him any favors, I'll tell you that. No, it's not. I don't know why people are surprised the money spoke before he did. Well, the fact that he spoke is the problem. He should have just kept his mouth shut. This interview is full of artificial sweetener and cap. That's why you got to move to Australia, brother. You hated, yeah, I hated it too. I hated it too. Damn, can we, as Sheila Lions fan, just quantum leap to 2028 season? Maybe. Hashtag Brad Holmes used goods and thrift. DC spend weeks looking for hiccups in the defense because those 45-yard carries makes the difference between W's and L's. Facts. Don't forget your boy Quinshon Judkins. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. The dude that don't even have a real name. That's not even a real person's name. That's not even a real person's name. Bro, if they don't win nothing, I don't see how they're gonna be here in 2028. If they have failures like so this next season, I don't know how this roster is going to be better for next season. Based off of the moves that they've made, and now you're talking about a few rookies. I don't know how this roster is going to be better next season. I really don't. But let's continue.
So there is a balance, and that's something that DJ Wam's going to be able to do for us.
Brad, I feel like most fans, I don't want to say most, but most fans know edge rushers can be expensive. I think that's why there's a natural fast.
This man just said, I won't say most. He started with most fans know, and then he said, I won't say most. I almost said a word that I probably shouldn't say on here. But it is the black dude talking. I just want to let y'all know that. Brother, who doesn't know edge rushers are expensive? If you are not a casual, right? And I guess most fans are casuals. Cool. But you know what the casual fan does have access to? Whenever there's a re-signing, whenever there's an extension, they generally give you contract details. Now, they don't go into the minutia and they don't go into the weeds of the contracts. They don't talk to you about option bonuses and all that other stuff. You have to be a fan like myself and many of you in the chat section who can understand how a contract works. If you tell me as a fan, just a casual, who can do a little bit of math, just a little bit of math, you don't have to do a whole lot of math. If you tell me that you signed Aiden Hutchinson, for example, to a 3-year, $150 million contract, guess what the average fan knows, even the casual, that averages out to $50 million per year. Is that a lot? Yes. In any sport, it doesn't matter. So the fact that this man corrected himself to say, well, not most fans, is crazy to me. It's crazy. But let's continue.
Nation with the draft to find one because that's a cheap place to get good talent. I believe the last time the organization drafted an edge rusher on day 1 or day 2 was 2022 with Josh Pascal. When you see that, I guess
we got Hutch in 20s.
You got yes, but I believe Pascal was second round after that.
Yeah. You said day 1 and day 2. Yeah.
Wow. Wow. My man was stumped. Oh, I forgot about Josh. This is what I was talking about earlier. You need to know, because he was like, man, we were just cooking up the food, man. We was in the kitchen, man. And my wife, Camille, she had the kitchen, man. And she had the sauce, and she had the spices, and she had the plate, and she had the pot. And she was just cooking, man. She put everything in the pot. And she was stirring, and she put it in the oven. And then we had the cookies, man. And then we had the cake. We had everything. We were just cooking, man. We were drafting, we were signing. You forgot who you drafted. You need to know, Brad, every draft pick, every signing, every trade, every roster move that you've made. because you have to learn from the things that didn't work. And you have to be able to try to replicate the things that do work or did work. So you need to keep up with this stuff. You forgot that you drafted Josh Pascal. That's crazy. It's crazy. You forgot you drafted him in the second round. That doesn't make sense. Heavy focus on offense again this year. Oh, we have to get it right because we don't know defense. Does that apply to the financial stability? No. It's just an inability to get defense right. He was talking about the same fan St. Brown was talking about. Oh, okay. You're right. You're right. You're right.
I guess with that in mind, you said last year that there were attempts to go get an edge rusher in the draft. How frustrating is it when you want that position, or I'm sure you want edge more than anyone else?
This probably gonna be the last one because this is ridiculous. Go ahead. We're gonna go ahead.
The building. How frustrating is it when the need doesn't line up with the board? I guess when those draft processes play out.
It's not frustrating. Look, when it comes to the draft, you just have favorites of just players in general, and I try to be as transparent as I can with that.
No, you don't.
Like openly about when it comes to the draft. You guys may not like it, I always say we don't chase need, but if it does line up, it lines up. I want to say
you don't chase need, but you chase players, which is stupid. Now, listen. Here we go.
The whole outside corner thing was a big thing until we got Terrion and then Rakestraw and all that. But
it was a big thing until we got Terrion and Rakestraw. Rakestraw. Who? Rakestraw. Who? Rakestraw? Rakestraw? What? Who is that? Who he played for? Does he play for us? It was a big thing until we got a guy that doesn't play for us. It was a big thing until we got a guy that can't stay healthy. And then the other guy who has suspectability, you see what I did there? And who is now a suspect in a crime, and who also had 2 separate shoulder injuries last season. So he's susceptible to injury, and he's susceptible to his ability, and he's susceptible to breaking the law. Those are the 2 guys who he went up on top of the hill and died on. Those guys. Drake. Drake. Rakestraw, bro. Rakestraw. He said Rakestraw. Hold on. Let me run that back. Let me run that back. Right. Let me go back 10 seconds.
But I want to say the whole outside corner thing was a big thing until we got Terrion and then Rakestraw and all that. But
he said Rakestraw. I wasn't tripping. He said Rakestraw. Are we serious? What up, though? Christina Marie Rossi says, hello, Motor City Cats. Go Detroit Lions. Facts, facts, facts. Brother, this man said Rakestraw. Y'all should be a little bit more upset that this man said Rakestraw. He said outside corner was a big deal until we got Terrion and Rakestraw and all of that. Brother, what has Rakestraw ever done? What benefit has he been for the Detroit Lions? What are his stats? How many passes has he broken up in the regular season? How many tackles for loss? How many times does he come on a corner blitz and sack the quarterback? How many interceptions does he have? How many times have you watched him play in the regular season? You're like, oh, that's sticky coverage. How many receivers has he shut down? How many RPOs has he strung out until Aiden Hutchinson could get to the guy and tackle him? How many times has Ennis Rakestraw affected the game of football for the Detroit Lions? It's crazy that he said that. I just re-signing Gibbs, Laporta, Campbell, and Branch will reset the market for their respective groups. He's being fiscally responsible and cautious with draft capital, but at this point, the team is built. Okay? So, if he's being fiscally what is he going to do with this draft capital? We have holes. We've got holes. We've got holes in different area codes. Holes. Holes. We got 2 draft picks to fill the holes. We got round 1 and round 2. He's going to have to trade up to get into round 3. The fact that he's didn't sign a free safety in free agency makes you believe he's okay with Kirby's recovery from injury. He also has signed Emmanuel Mosley twice and Marcus Davenport twice. So does he have the benefit of the doubt because he has information about Kirby's injury that we don't have? Do you trust Brad Holmes when it comes to injured players? I don't see why you should. That's all I'm saying. There we go. F them picks. Okay, Christopher. Smoke. That's what today was all about. Trying to quiet the fan base. Damage control, some would say. Brad has done a tremendous job, but he truly needs to evolve. He's probably one of the best talent evaluators in NFL, but too conservative for our own good. I would agree with that. 100%. The evolution part, that's what we need. I wish Brad looked at defense like lemon pound cake. Just wait when TA gets cooked too. I mean, I'm one of the only people that I know that defends Terrion's ability, right? Because I can see the technique. I can see he just needs to trust it, but he might not be able to trust it from prison. We'll see. Usually athletes don't get, they pay enough to their lawyers to get out of these cases. Cool. But there's something wrong with Terrion. He talks too much. He's in his head too much. He doesn't trust his technique. He's got sticky coverage. He's always in phase. He's rarely getting burnt. But anytime he feels it slipping away from him, he grabs somebody. That's why he has all the penalties that he has. The capology that capitulates in captivity from the capital from this GM is captivating. That's a mic drop right there, bro. Mr. Morale dropped the mic. You know what I'm saying? That is a mic drop. I'm gonna leave that up there so y'all can formulate that one in your minds. All right, let's go with this with the last thing.
But it wasn't no, we don't like outside corners. It was just like it has to be the right player.
What are you talking about? They're acting like they got 2 all pros here. If you said Kirby Joseph and Brian Branch, I got nothing to say. If you said Jahmyr Gibbs, nothing to say. If you said Sam Laporta, nothing to say. If you said Jack Campbell, nothing to say. You didn't hit home runs with Terrion Arnold and Ennis Rakestraw. Ennis Rakestraw is not even a bunt. He's not even a bunt. He's not even a pop fly where there needs to be some sort of effort to go and get it. He's a ground out. Like you just, and it just rolled down the first base line. And then you didn't even run it all the way out because he's like, damn, it just rolled right down to the first baseman. I guess I better go over here and get tagged. It's crazy.
And so it just happens to line up. So I don't get frustrated when, we miss out on.
What lined up with Terrion Arnold and Ennis Rakestraw? Take Terrion out of it, right? Because Terrion has ability. Now, because Ennis Rakestraw is a second round pick, he's on a 4-year contract. Who knows? Maybe he could get healthy and be something. Go out there and be somebody. Hashtag if you know, you don't use the hashtag. I can't, the first part of the joke, I can't really say. Okay. Now go out there and be somebody. Okay. Hashtag if you know, you know. Use the hashtag. But at this point in time, you acting as though you've accomplished something by drafting Ennis Rakestraw is wild to me. I can't understand what you think that you did by drafting Ennis Rakestraw. No metrics show that you've accomplished anything by drafting Ennis Rakestraw. There's not a single metric that can tell you that it was an accomplishment to draft Ennis Rakestraw. A foul tip and a single. Picking back-to-back rounds 1 and 2, grabbing corners looked desperate, and now we know it was reaching. That's the bad part. That's the bad part. In the pre-draft process, I did not want whenever I saw Ennis Rakestraw mocked to us, I was like, we better not pick that dude. Now it was first round. But the fact that we picked him in the second round and the same thing happened that I thought would happen in the first round if you picked him. He's a walking injury. He missed his entire pre-draft process while recovering from core muscle surgery. His first year in the league, he was hampered by injury. His second year in the league wasn't a year. He didn't play it. He got injured in training camp and was out for the season on something that looked very routine. If I'm being honest with you. The fact that the news that he was out for the entire season was shocking to me because I'm looking at the play and I'm like, the frick happened? Where was he injured? They call him break straw. And he's also skinny. Maybe that's why he can't hold up in the NFL. Speaking of skinny, Nate Wiggins. Nate Wiggins was there in the first round. But we had to trade up for Terrion. You know? Had to trade up for Terrion. Single, no, safe on an error is more like it. Safe is the problem, though. Safe means he got on base. I wanted Nate Wiggins or DeJean. Both of them were available. Both of them. DeJean was in the second round. I think didn't he go before Rakestraw? Possibly, I don't remember. But we could have, if not, then that means we could have had Wiggins and DeJean instead of Terrion and Rakestraw. Wouldn't that have been a better combination? I'm just saying. No, but we had Brian Branch. So DeJean was redundant because we had to have Brian Branch playing in the slot because we allowed the San Francisco 49ers to scheme him off the field. So we had to move him to safety. But then again, if you moved him to safety, that means you did open up. So what I just said was backwards. No, you could have got DeJean. Yeah, my bad. I was, I was a little bit off of that one. Ennis Rakestraw Jr. needs to gain weight. He looks more like a wide receiver than a cornerback. He does.
A certain position. It's just frustrating to miss out on a certain player, regardless of a position. But those are certain players that we tried to make moves for that we just weren't able to do. But one of those players that we tried to make move for was Isaac Tesla. Last year, he was a player that we coveted very, very highly, and we were able to go and get. So it's always going to be players more so over position. And the reason why I keep saying is that
You gave up 3 third-round picks for a wide receiver that you didn't need. The victory lapping here is crazy. Not only did you victory lap over Ennis Rakestraw, but you victory lapped over a wide receiver that you did not need, that you gave up 3 first-round picks for. This same wide receiver that dropped a game-winning touchdown at the end of the season. One of those games that if we won, could have put us in the playoffs. We would have been 10-6 and possibly in the playoffs. I'm sorry, 10-7. I mean, it's a slim chance. But you gave up 3 third-round picks for a wide receiver that you did not need. And you're victory lapping over being able to get that player. Rakestraw needs to get with Isian for his weightlifting regimen. Something. Maybe that's the point. Maybe that's why we signed Isian. Breakstraw was a strikeout, aka in the books. Boys, TA was not player over position. Test out also. But he got a 6 for TP. And let's talk about this. Player over position. And then again, as we highlighted before, you took 2 corners back to back. If you weren't looking for a position, what the hell were you doing? You took 2 corners back to back, and then you're telling us it's player over position. So it just happened to be the fact that these players were in positions of need and you just love the players. So you took them both back to back rounds. That's what you're telling me. Okay. All right. He did get a 6 for TP, who was there already, who was a red zone threat already. And then he could have kept those 3 third-round picks. He has blown second-round picks on breakable players. He has. Josh Pascal, Levi Onwuzurike, in his break straw. It's terrible. It's terrible. It's terrible. You could also throw in McNeil, yes. But wasn't McNeil a 3rd-round pick? I believe McNeil was a 3rd-round pick. Guys, that's all I got. That's all I got, bro. I don't have anything more than that. Y'all got any mailbag questions? Mailbag. What you gonna do? What you gonna do when they read in you? Cynics, niggas, mailbag. Get your mailbag questions in. Get them in. Bask in it. That's crazy, bro. That is crazy to me. That is crazy to me. I don't know. I'm at a loss for words. I'm at a loss. I'll tell you that much. I will tell you that much. Back to back Levi and McNeil. Oh, okay. Yeah. Because it's about the players, it's not about the position. They lined up. Those were players they liked that lined up with positions of need. Okay, that's cool. I'll accept that. But they still didn't fill a need because we still need somebody other than them. This is some bullshit. Oh, okay. Bruh, I just, like I said, I don't even know. Could Brad got Isaac Tesla in later rounds? I don't know. Uh, I feel like you might have been able to sit still in the third round and grab him. But who knows, bro? Who knows? One thing Brad said that I will agree with is we do need to see what these games look like when the season starts. If you're waiting to see what things look like when the season starts, you might be waiting until it's too late. Once the season starts, there's not too much you can do as far as roster building other than grab veterans that never got signed in free agency. You could possibly make some trades. I don't know too much. I mean, you know, people make trades during training camp at times where a player is going to get cut and you're afraid you're not going to be able to claim them off of waivers and you really like them, so you trade them a seventh. You know, stuff like that. What will determine that will determine if he should be fired or not. Yeah, yeah, that's true. Got to see Trench's rounds 1 and 2, one from both sides of the ball, or I'm going on a Brad Holmes gotta go wagon. Bruh, at this point, I'm not confident he's gonna draft an edge. I'm sorry. He drafted one in round 2 in Josh Pascal, who wasn't, he was like a hybrid DT edge. He wasn't a pure edge. You know, he had 4 sacks in 4 years or something like that, or 5 sacks in 4 years. It didn't, he was averaging 1 sack a year. And he wasn't great at setting the edge. Go back to the Bills game where he missed a ton of tackles. You know? Mailbag, which tackle would you draft if available? Fano, Miller, Freeling, or Lomo? Probably Freeling. I think he has the most upside out of all of those guys. I think Miller at 17 is too early. I don't think and Fano and Lomu, they've gotta do some maturing. They've got to do some developing. I know Freeling has to do some developing as well, but I think he would fit what we do better than the rest. Proctor is like, I don't know, bro. So when I look at Proctor, I'm not sure if he's the football guy that this regime would covet. Like, I mean, I looked at the combine, right? And this is something that you don't really see too often. He's an offensive lineman. And at the combine, whenever they show him on camera, he's not in the drills. He's like, I've never seen someone do that at the combine before. An offensive lineman. So the questions will be, is he really invested in football that way? Or is he trying to be an influencer or something? Like, I just, people at the combine are usually locked in. He didn't seem very locked in. You know what I mean? That's all. It's just an observation, but sometimes these observations have merit. Don, what's the quick story while you live in Australia? I mean, it's not really a quick story, but basically, I was an English teacher for 20 years. So I've been traveling the world teaching English. And I lived in Qatar, Malaysia. I was in Indonesia and teaching there for a bit. I lived in Turkey. So what happened was during and I guess 21 years ago now, I married a woman from Australia. So we have 3 children. I sent them back here in 2017. I didn't have any plans on coming here. So I went to Malaysia in 2019 from here. And I had planned to bring the family over to Malaysia, started looking for schools for the kids and everything. And then COVID hit in 2020. So I was stuck there for 2 years of COVID. So I went back to Qatar for a year and I taught in the English in the military, the Qatari military. And there was a power struggle within HR and my side lost. I didn't know I had a side. So basically they weren't going to renew my contract. So I had to leave. So the only logical place to come was here because my wife at the time and kids were here. So that's how I wound up here. So yeah, I guess that is the shortest that I can make this story. Pascal was a DE in college before his cancer ordeal. Yeah, I know he was a DE in college. He just wasn't like he didn't have any pass rush prowess in the NFL, and they drafted him, I guess, as an edge setter and a run stopper. I mean, he was decent against the run. He wasn't terrible, but I mean, they chose to cut Pascal over Levi, and Levi is a guy who's had freaking back surgery and missed the whole of last season. I mean, I know Pascal did as well, but I don't know. I didn't understand the move. If Brad drafts an edge in the first, will that settle things down? Yes, but I don't think he's put himself in a position where he can, because if you're telling me that Larry Borum is a starter, which whatever, I don't understand why we have to try to find diamonds in the rough everywhere instead of just getting proven people. But it is what it is. If you're telling me that Larry Borum is a starter and you believe wholeheartedly he's your starter, and then you mess around and draft an edge in the first round and you can't protect Jared Goff off the edge because you put Larry Borum out there and you didn't have a contingency plan, now you look stupid because this is the second straight year where you didn't have a contingency plan for Frank Ragnow and you threw Graham Glasgow out there. Now you don't have a contingency plan for Taylor Decker and you just throw Larry Borum out there. And you're like, we're just going to go with Larry Borum. That can make you look smart or it can make you look stupid. So I think it's for insurance, you got to grab tackle. And tackles are usually the guys you get in the first round. So Brad does like Bama boys, though. That's true. He does. But I don't know about Proctor, bro. I just don't know. It's one thing to be a Bama boy. It's the other thing to be a Bama boy and not fit the football intelligence and the football character and all that stuff that they care about. So he's not going to trade for an edge. That's dead. We already know that. It could have been nerves, or he knows he's going to get drafted, so he does not care, which means he's not going to fit. he's not going to fit the Detroit Lions in the current iteration of the grit culture. That's what I'm saying. That he ain't gonna fit that. Mm-mm. Nope. No, sir. No, sir. Bob and Jimmy. Coming back to USA, I mean, I've been out for quite a while. So, I was gonna come back last year for training camp, but I had a deal that wasn't really actually a deal. My friend had a deal on tickets, and it was gonna cost me like $300 round trip, and then it wasn't gonna cost that much. So it was like, all right, well, it's pretty much the same because you had to pay taxes on those tickets for some reason. So yeah, it was gonna be pretty much the same price. So I was like, yeah, not coming back. Yeah, it's cool. They love the try hard players, exactly. And you sitting up there bopping, and you got your, your Beats by Dre in, or your, what I mean, your AirPods. Instead of paying attention, I don't think they like that too much. Yeah, that's true. All good, all good. Herb Proctor ain't gonna work. That's what I'm saying. I don't think that he will work out. Thanks for the backstory, bro. You've definitely been around the world. I have been around the world, and I can't find my baby. I don't know, and I don't know why she's gone away, and I don't know where she's gonna be. All right, if we don't have any more mailbag questions, I'm going to get off of here. I have been on here for 2 hours, and I'm pretty sure the Syndicate's 365 chat is lighting up right now to talk about a show. It actually is not lighting up. Interesting. All right, y'all. So we'll be back here tomorrow. Once again, the Motor City Cats R&D back at it. We came to give you stats, not none of that static. Whatever you do, make sure you keep your lines news pragmatic. Appreciate y'all for hanging out. This was a 2-hour stream, but we had some things to talk about, and we are out. We got another mailbag. Let me get this one in. Falk, Messidor, or TJ? Falk is a 21-year-old Marcus Davenport, so no. The one that I think that has the most polish right now and could help you today with a pass rush plan is Messidor. And yes, he's old, but he can help you today, right? I think he can get to the passer today. I think TJ needs work. He needs to develop a plan. TJ's reminds me of more like Shamar Stewart, who came out. Now, TJ has more production than Shamar Stewart, but I think they are similarly limited in their pass rush plan. So I would say I'm going with Messidor if we had to choose between the two. I don't want Falk at all. Not at all. I'm tired of this big end crap. Get to the damn passer. You setting the edge, but you getting gashed for 45 yards a carry. Do something different. All right, y'all. As I said, once again, the Motor City Cats R&D back at it. We came to give you stats, not none of that static. Whatever you do, make sure you keep your lines news pragmatic, and we are out. Peace.